What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's central bank has raised the country's key interest rate to a 15-year high. The increase brings Taiwan's discount rate up to 2% from 1.875%, where it has stood since last March. The bank's decision comes just after neighboring Japan raised its own interest rate for the first time since 2007. Taiwan's central bank has also raised its yearly forecast for both inflation and economic growth. Social workers are protesting the treatment they faced since the child abuse scandal broke last week. As Zhang Ventress reports, the case is also highlighting broader resentment over working conditions.
These social workers, more than 100 in all, have gathered from across Taiwan to give the government a message. They are fed up. The public handcuffing of one of their colleagues in Taipei last week is what set things off. Police brought this social worker in for questioning over the death of an infant, allegedly at the hands of an abusive nanny. Officials suspect the social worker may have been negligent and falsified reports on the infant's case. But social workers and police themselves say the handcuffing and parade past news cameras were inappropriate. But the promise of a reprimand for the officer responsible hasn't calmed social workers' anger.
大家看到社工被铐的那一瞬间，为什么我们那么害怕？我们觉得恐惧，我们觉得受伤，因为很可能下一个就会是我们。
But that's just the first of many things these social workers are angry about. They have a list of demands for the government. Chief among them are greater protections from abuse and doxing, and scrapping plans to mandate more frequent checkups on children. They also want a review of pay and work capacity, a new forum to discuss child abuse, and a recognition that social workers can't support the social safety net by themselves.
安网呢，也绝对不是只有社工在支撑，但是一旦发生事情的时候，社工很有可能就会变成替罪羔羊。
The government says it will consider these demands.
工会提出蛮多诉求的，那这个部分有些可能我们私塾就可以来做讨论，有些可能还是在请教我们一些专家学者，特别是我们在社工系的一些相关的老师。
But these reviews aren't expected until late April, further testing the patience of workers who say they're overworked, underpaid, and first in the line of fire when things go wrong. Scott Huang and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Indonesian Defense Minister Prabowo Subianto has been confirmed as the winner of last month's presidential election.
Jumlah suara sah pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden nomor urut 2, Haji Prabowo Subianto dan Gibran Rakabuming Raka sebanyak 96.214.691 suara.
Prabowo won the election with nearly 60% of the vote. The former Special Forces commander has faced claims of human rights abuses for decades, but he gained a following among younger voters on TikTok, where he was cast as a cuddly grandpa. He ran on the platform of continuing the policies of outgoing President Joko Widodo and will take office in October. Members of the public have demonstrated following the results alleging election fraud. The U.S. ambassador to the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum says Taiwan is a full and equal member of the institution. At an event in Washington, D.C., U.S. senior official for Apec, Matt Murray, was asked whether the bloc is able to deal with pressing geopolitical issues. These include differing views on Taiwan's participation. Murray expressed continued U.S. support for Taiwan's involvement under the title of Chinese Taipei. Taiwan joined APEC under that name in 1991.
APEC is known, the members are known as economies rather than countries because you do have 21 members, which include Taiwan and Hong Kong. There is always going to be some friction that plays out on the cross-strait relationship that plays itself out in APEC. The U.S. position is very clear on that Taiwan, participating as Chinese Taipei, is a full and equal member of APEC.
Taiwan's weather agency is raising the alarm for imminent water shortages in north and central parts of the country. It says the country's reservoir levels have dropped and there will be less rainfall than usual in the coming months. Officials say they're monitoring the country's water levels. Recent shortages have thrown a spotlight on industrial water use in Taiwan, with chipmaker TSMC under scrutiny for its high rate of use. Officials say in the long run, TSMC will use recycled water in its manufacturing. Concerns over TSMC's demand for water extends to the south as well. That part of Taiwan is already short on water, and as TSMC continues to expand both at home and abroad, local farmers worry they may need to compete with the chip giant for resources. Joyce Zhen reports.
Here in Pingtung in southern Taiwan, farmers are praying for rain. The area's been suffering from droughts, and now on top of that, residents are bracing to compete for what water there is against global chipmaker TSMC.
香蕉、芋头啦，稻田啦，都会产生问题。我们抽水机的性能都必须要去汰旧换新。
Following strong global demand for semiconductors, TSMC has been expanding its operations around the world. Here in Taiwan, TSMC is adding to its already large footprint with a new fab planned in the south, the third in Taiwan to use an industry-leading 2-nanometer process. Water is a crucial part of making chips, used to cool equipment and clean silicon wafers. And the more advanced the chip, the more water is needed. Currently, TSMC uses about 6,800 liters of water to make a single wafer. The company's fabs in the south alone consume 138 million liters of water a day. As TSMC drinks up more and more water in southern Taiwan's Science Park each year, Kaohsiung City Mayor Chen Qimai was asked if the south had enough water for more fabs.
规划第三座厂的一个这个设置的相关的一些条件。
Stories of TSMC's heavy water use have worried some residents over in Japan, where the chipmaker recently opened its first Japanese fab in a farming town in Kumamoto Prefecture. Koyama Yuichi heads a newly founded group of farmers there to protect their interests after TSMC's arrival. Koyama says they haven't gotten much information to work with from the chipmaker or the local government.
やっぱりマスコミの情報で我々は知るぐらいでですね、なかなか情報が思ったよりも、その時点ではですね多くはなかったと。うちの会員さんの農地が減っていったり、だんだん水の問題が来たり、田舎には、自然がいっぱいあったのが、どういうふうに変化するのか、あるいは人の問題。
Koyama says Kumamoto farmers are hoping to learn from those in Taiwan on how to coexist and share resources with chip firms. But given TSMC's rapid growth and Taiwan's increasingly scarce resources, neither farmers nor government leaders here may have all the answers. Joseph Wu and Joyce Zhen for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's army has held early morning live fire exercises on the outlying islands of Penghu. The Army's Penghu Defense Command fired artillery, tanks, and machine guns to verify its combined arms capabilities. They practiced anti-air combat, landing site defense, and counterattacks on coastal targets. The Penghu Islands lay in a strait between Taiwan and China and are thought to be a likely point of attack in the war. Could you dive 66 meters under the ocean without an air tank or fins? That's exactly what Zhang Kaixiang, the winner of the 2024 AIDA Taiwanese Cup Men's Division, did. Zhang also dove to a depth of 77 meters on the second dive using fins. In the women's division, Ho Yiming placed first with the dives of 68 and 70 meters. Freedivers gathered on southern Taiwan's Xiaoliuqiu Island over 3 days to compete in various categories. The event ended on Wednesday. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website and follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Before we go, get wrapped up with this massive collection of Hot Wheels cars and accessories owned by a Hot Wheels enthusiast in Canada. I'm Ethan. Take care, and I'll see you next time.